Everyone, it is time again for my annual Eurovision review. It's not really a review, it's just my musings on some songs and the quality or lack thereof, the presenting. So for those who aren't in the know, Eurovision is a song competition that was founded in 1956 to kind of mend the divisions in war-torn Europe and bring everyone closer together through the means of campy, naff music. Hooray for mediocrity! This is the 62nd edition, held in Kyiv after Jamala won last year representing Ukraine with 1944. A contentious entry because of the supposed meaning being about the annexation of Crimea. Read into that what you will. I love the song personally. It was one of my favourite tracks of last year, which for a Eurovision track is an astonishing accomplishment, being that good. The thing with Eurovision is there's always 4 types of songs. There's your Europop fodder.
Don't say that it's impossible, 'cause I know it's possible.
There's the gimmicks.
Rock and roll angels, bring that rock hallelujah.
There's the power ballads.
Rise like a phoenix out of the ashes seeking.
And there's the miscellaneous stuff, which kind of encompasses everything else.
'Cause I don't care if I lose my mind. I gotta tell you how I feel about you.
You're probably wondering why Russia isn't taking part this year. Essentially, they submitted an entry, Flame is Burning, by Yulia Samilova, and there were issues surrounding the fact that she had performed in Crimea. Ukraine, obviously hosting the event, wasn't happy with that. The EBU, also the European Broadcasting Union, I think that's what it stands for, it makes sense. They also weren't happy with it, and instead of choosing someone else to represent the country, they withdrew entirely, which was a bit childish. You know, the thing is, Russia are kind of playing victim here, but to be honest, I feel like they planned this completely. They chose an artist who they knew had played in Crimea, which is, you know, a pure act of intimidation on their part. What's even fucking better is they chose someone who was disabled. My thought behind that was they knew that they were going to get called out for choosing this artist who performed in Crimea, and then what they could do was say, "Oh, you're being discriminatory against disabled people. How dare you? How dare you?" When you're trying to promote diversity and stuff like that. And if that's the case, then that's really childish. Yeah, it's not really worked out for you, has it? Because now you're not performing. But the song was shite anyway. She was a terrible singer. Sounded like she was singing everything phonetically.
Day and night and all I do is dreaming. Places we can stare on the ceiling.
Terrible lyrics, terrible song, just awful. It's not an entry that's going to be missed particularly. But inside the arena, in Kyiv, there were 9,500 people, which is quite a lot. And watching at home, roughly about 200 million. The actual viewing figures aren't necessarily that accurate. It varies year to year, ranging from 100 million to 650 million. But let's just go with 200 million because that's what they were saying in the broadcast. It's now been 20 years since the UK last won the Eurovision Song Contest with Shine Light by Katrina and the Waves, bringing Ireland's Eurovision reign of terror to an end with 4 wins in 5 years. It got to the point where, after winning 3 years in a row, they submitted a shite song just so they wouldn't win it a 4th year in a row. More on this strategy later. This year, however, though, Ireland aren't taking part because they didn't qualify for the final. Imagine that. How bad do you have to be to not qualify for Eurovision? Especially when Jedward qualified twice. So the way they presented them was they were all coming out, like the Olympics, like they were just kind of walking out to the flag in the background, and they were like, yeah, this is awesome. And just like last year, the jury vote and audience vote would be announced separately, so you don't just have clueless Europeans voting, you've also got clueless music experts voting as well. Portugal is the bookies' favourite. Italy was the bookies' favourite, but then they started incorporating gorilla into their staging, and for some reason people didn't like that. I mean, I don't know why they included a gorilla in the first place. It's very random. There are 3 performers who are 17 years old, representing Australia, Bulgaria and Belgium, respectively. So the theme this year is diversity, but isn't that always the theme? And the best way that they could showcase diversity? With 3 white dudes presenting. Comedic vacuums. Every single one of them.
I am Boba, and also your disco ball. D-I-S-C-O. Oh, so.
I really don't like the comedy that Eurovision presents because it's cringe-inducing almost all the time.
Yes, I can't believe that was like 12 years ago.
But even back then, I think the 3 of us were already pretty cool, really.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, I think so.
what?
Oh, no! Oh my God, no.
So, getting to the songs. First up, we have Imri representing Israel with I Feel Alive. Really off-key singing. And a typical Europop song, of which there is just too much of an abundance in this competition. The lyrics are pretty insipid, as you'd expect. And before you jump in, no, I'm not being anti-Semitic. Next we have Kasia Moss with Flashlight from Poland at second. The kiss of death for a performer. No one's ever won the contest performing second place. I doubt that's really going to change. Great singer, great singer.
Falling deeper, got you in the sun, bringing down your rise in the sky.
Just a bit of a redundant song. No real interest in it. However, they could go far considering how many Polish people live outside of the country. So, because I should have mentioned this at the beginning, you can't vote for your own country when you're voting in the televote. But if you live in a different country and you're from that country, you can vote for them. So they have that advantage. Third, we have Naviband with The Story of My Life, representing Belarus. It's just, it's a twee, inoffensive song sung in Belarusian, which, I mean, I'm all for singing in other languages. I prefer people to sing in their own native language because I feel like it's not fair that English just dominates everything. And it kind of resembles the whole English folk pop that Mumford & Sons brought back into the mainstream consciousness a few years ago. It's a bit repetitive, to be honest, but it's nothing particularly terrible. And at fourth, we have Nathan Trent with Running on Air for Austria. I had to check that he was Austrian, as it's not a very Austrian name, but it's a stage name, apparently. Straight away I thought, yeah, this is going to be a popular choice. It sounds like watered down Ed Sheeran, like a track that he had written for a boy band, but an early noughties one, not a current one. I think S Club 7.
I don't care, 'cause I'm running on air.
Although they weren't a boy band. It was kind of half and half male-female, but you get the idea. There's a fairly innocuous, bouncy structure. So in fifth, we have Armenia with Artsvik, their track Fly With Me. This was a nice Turkic-influenced electro-pop track that was very easy on the ears, very ethereal. Cool little guitar licks in there as well, breakbeats too. In sixth, we have Ogene with Light and Shadows from the Netherlands. 2 of them are twins, typically from the Netherlands. It's a country track. Great harmonies between them.
With the universe,
But this song had vague lyrics that weren't particularly outstanding. Cringy presenting time!
Felice restare lassù. That's amazing!
At 7 we have Sunstroke Project with Hey Mama representing Moldova, who performed before in 2010 when they came 22nd. More Europop, but with a twist, and it's a big twist. Embarrassing middle-aged men in tuxes dancing awkwardly, playing sax and violin respectively. You always have to have a gimmick to make a middle-of-the-road Europop song in any way endearing, but I have to say that sax melody was actually infuriatingly catchy. At 8th, we have Yotsi Papue with Origo from Hungary. This guy has zero stage presence. His stage presence is almost non-existent. They may as well have put a damp rag on the stage. Nice staging though, and choreography. Rapping in Hungarian. If you want to win, don't do either of the above. I like the chorus. But overall it's a bit bland, to be honest. And at 9 we have Francesco Gabbani with Occidentali's Karma, representing Italy. The song was the bookie's favourite, as I mentioned before, but the gorilla turned people off. Nice to see more songs not sung in English than last year, because there wasn't really many. Embrace your language. But yeah, it was a catchy Europop song. Not much more to say.
Occidentali's karma. Occidentali's karma.
At number 10 we have Anya with Where I Am from Denmark. More Europop with vague lyrics, but on the plus side she has a nice voice, I suppose. At number 11, representing Portugal, we have Salvador Sobral with Amar Pelos Dois. Portugal are a country that don't get to the final often, last appearing in 2010, and since 1996 they've been shockingly bad. Fun fact though, they're the country who has the most appearances in the final without winning, with 49. But this was a pretty jazz track with a very swooning quality that I rather enjoyed, and also great again to hear a track that's not in English but the language of the performer, Portuguese.
Meu bem, ouve as minhas preces.
It's very refreshing to see. I'm not sure it'll win because it's just not got the oomph that a track needs to win, I think. But nonetheless, I think it's a great song. At 12 we have Dihaj with Skeletons, representing Azerbaijan. A very sparse electronic pop song that wasn't too bad really. It just wasn't outstanding. It's one of the better songs I've heard so far in this year's contest. But that's damning with faint praise, isn't it? At number 13 we have Jok Hodek with My Friend, representing Croatia. The song's a very interesting one because it's essentially a duet with himself. I know. There's one part where he's singing in a soaring musical theatre voice that would make Alan Menken proud. And there's another which is full-on opera. At one point he starts singing in Italian.
Your hand, don't let it slip away. Io so che esiste, guarda.
It feels very Disney. There's some beautiful string flourishes here that do sound a bit like Let It Go, but I really enjoy it. It's one of my favourite tracks that I've heard so far, for sure.
I pray you see the light and find your way. I pray.
I'm hoping that it does well. At number 14 we have Isaiah, representing Australia. Awesomely, an Aboriginal, which is great considering the previous people representing Australia weren't even European. So at least you've got some native people from their country participating, which is kind of nice. With Don't Come Easy, if you're questioning why they're taking part, then you're a bit late to the party. There's no point explaining why Australia is part of the contest. Look at my other video from last year for me to explain all that. And like a few artists representing their countries, he won the X Factor for Australia. Not for Australia, in Australia. It wasn't the X Factor World Cup or something. God, that would be awful. I just realised I haven't actually spoken about the song. Moribund. At number 15 we have Demi with This Is Love from Greece. A thumping, fall to the floor Europop track that fails to take off. I mean, it just flops around the floor like a Maggie carp.
This is love, reaching out for the stars.
At number 16 we have one of the big 5 countries that contribute to the funds of Eurovision, and in doing so they get automatic entry to the final. Spain with Do It For Your Lover by Manuel Navarro. We have officially the worst song of the contest so far. And at only number 16, it's come relatively early. Oh, Christ, this song's so aggressively mediocre that it hurts. I feel like I'm getting a brain hemorrhage listening to it. It's starting already. Starting. Horrible. Absolutely disgusting surface staging that was so embarrassing. The singing wasn't that great either.
Do for those who ever
I seriously doubt that this would have got through to the final if it wasn't part of the big five. It's fucking ghastly. Bruno Mars called. He wants his song back.
do it for your lover, do it for your lover, baby. Clap your hands and do it for your lover.
At number 17, we've got Josts with Grab the Moment, representing Norway. The original singer pulled out, which was very wise. This song was very grating. Very. It was also very irritating whenever the screen started distorting. Is this the new crazy, out of control, whoa, we're moving the camera around motif that was prevalent in the rock entries from last year? I haven't seen anyone else doing it, so I don't think so. But it was fucking annoying. Oh, the song is total fucking cack, man. Then we have some more embarrassing presenting. Monsel Malove came back to do like a little skit teaching the three presenters presenting this year how to present Eurovision properly. Eurovision humour is clearly not for me. Or it's dreadful. One or the other. Finally, at number 18, Never Give Up On You by Lucy Jones, X Factor alumni, representing the United Kingdom, which supposedly is about Brexit. Feels like it is. It's kind of funny that during the broadcast no one was mentioning Brexit at all. Presumably because no one gives two donkeys. And why should they? We're fucking idiots. Shooting ourselves in the foot left, right and centre. But this is one of the best songs Britain has submitted in a while. Certainly miles better than Joe and Jake from last year. Christ, that was awful. Yeah, having said that, it's not really saying much that this is the best in a few years, because the what we've submitted hasn't been exactly stellar, has it? But it's a pleasant atmospheric piano ballad that had a bit of an electronic tinge, and I thought it was quite good. Really great vocals. Didn't really put a foot wrong, really. You know, it's a very competent song. Which is a huge surprise considering it's the UK. It feels very odd seeing someone representing the UK performing a song that's actually decent. I feel like I'm living in a parallel universe. At number 19, the Cypriot entry, Hovig with Gravity. He's represented twice before, in 2010 where he placed third, and in 2015 where he placed fourth. Another X Factor reject. I was surprised that his singing wasn't that great, considering that he's been on the X Factor.
I can be your hero, I can be your fantasy. Oh, I can be the cure, yeah, let me be.
But the worst bit about the song was the clear rip-off of Human by Rag and Bone Man, which is by no means the most original song, but it's straight plagiarism right there. It's really blatant.
Let me be your wings when you're flying high.
At number 20 we have Romania's entry with Linka and Alex Stroyer with Yodel It, a bloody song with yodeling and rapping.
You never show respect, that makes you.
Two vocal techniques that I never thought I'd hear in parallel with one another. This song was the epitome of the word gimmick. I mean, at least if you're going to have a gimmick, you may as well go all out, I suppose. felt a little bit like that cover of Four Non-Blondes, What's Going On, with the He-Man footage. You know the one I'm talking about.
Don't you hide the light inside of you? Come and show me what you wanna do.
Next up, another of the big five, Germany. Lavina with Perfect Life. What a blatant Titanium ripoff.
I come alive inside the light of the unexpected.
David Guetta and Sia's lawyer will be on the phone. I'd be surprised if they weren't. They don't even try to conceal it. It's right there in front of you. It really fucking bothered me. Christ. I'm starting to care about Eurovision. What's wrong with me? And at 22, we have the host nation, Ukraine, with Ottervold performing a rock song. As soon as the song started, I thought, oh dear, here we go. They have the look of a group of men desperately trying to be edgy, but failing spectacularly. I'm getting the impression that, as I mentioned earlier, Ukraine chose this group to guarantee that they wouldn't host it twice in a row, because obviously they couldn't afford that with the economy that they're in at the moment. Yeah. Even though it's 3 minutes, it felt a hell of a lot longer. Poor. It's the only rock song of this year. Thank fuck for that, because if there's anything Eurovision does worse than anything else, it's rock. At number 23, representing Belgium, is Blanche with City Lights, another 17-year-old. But blimey, what a dour voice.
The lonely flame of doubt. Are we going to lose it all?
Christ almighty. I mean, she's got a great kind of alto voice, but it's such a miserable song. Very joyless. She had no stage presence to speak of, which might have been to do with the fact that, you know, she may be a bit spooked just because of how overwhelming the experience is. You know, she's only 17 years old. Not a bad song though, a nice pop track that, unlike the last song, won't outstay its welcome. But the last song was fucking criminal.
All alone in the flame of doubt.
So now, at number 24, representing Sweden, is Robin Benson with I Can't Go On, a synth pop affair that involved a lot of treadmills and fairly anemic lyrics.
And I can't go on, I can't go on, when you look this freaking beautiful.
Nothing of note. And at 25, the penultimate track. It's always good to be like second, you know, slightly towards the end, because people remember you. We have the Bulgarian entry, the final 17-year-old, Christian Kostov with Beautiful Mess. Really great singer, really great singer. Fantastic vocal control.
We don't have a thing to lose, no matter what they say or do. I don't want nothing more. Our love is untouchable.
Strangely, it's got a bit of a trap-influenced beat, at least in the chorus.
Our love is untouchable.
The rest is a pretty laid-back, airy instrumental with decent lyrics, quite nice singing. I don't really have anything negative to say about the song. Shocking. This could be the winner, because everything about this performance says, ha 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 ha, fuck you, I'm taking home this trophy tonight.
Our love is untouchable.
And the final song, the last of the big five, France with Alma and the song Requiem. Another track not in English, wonderfully. Yay for multiculturalism! I wish the chorus wasn't in English though, because it's like French and then the chorus is in English. I hate it when that happens, it's fucking annoying.
Will you take me to paradise? With you nothing ever dies.
The staging was quite nice, but yeah, this song's a typical ethnic pop track that fails to set the imagination alight, really. Then, to announce the televotes, that Ukrainian drag act came out, literally, not figuratively. Yeah, I can't remember their name, but they came second one year. They opened the phone lines, and then we had a Ukrainian pop star named Ruslana performing a track of hers with It's Magical. Yeah. Not fantastic. It just shows how much money Ukraine has to pump into their edition of Eurovision. Sweden last year with Justin Timberlake, and this year in Ukraine you got Ruslana. Then there was this artist called Anuka performing. The song they performed was fucking pumping, man. What a fucking tune! If only something this compelling had featured in the competition this year. Oh well. Then we saw the Georgian Young Eurovision winner, who was kind of promoting the junior Eurovision. My God, she's got pipes. They showed a clip of her, like, Jesus Christ, she's like 12. She was just so precious. Really, really lovely girl. Great English too. And very, very confident for someone of her age.
Do you hope to sing at Eurovision one day?
Actually, I was thinking about it because when I won Junior Eurovision, I experienced a lot of things, and I want to experience it again.
She's got a bright future ahead of her. I wouldn't surprise me if she represented Georgia sometime in the future. Then Jamala, the winner from last year, came on. Usually it's customary that they perform a new song and the winning track from the year before, but they didn't do that this year. She performed a track called I Believe in You, which wasn't that great.
I will be there for you in your darkest hours, right beside you.
But mid-performance, a Ukrainian wrapped in an Aussie flag mooned the entire televised audience. Nice respite from the barren wasteland, devoid of any humour that is the presenting in this show. And then the jury votes were announced, which were fairly predictable, but during Israel's unveiling of their votes, they announced that they aren't participating anymore in Eurovision, which was a bit of a shock. But, one less country making terrible music. I suppose now we just need to get all of the others to withdraw. Especially Spain. Especially. So, jury votes were announced, and fuck you, Malta! No points from the jury. No points. None. Nil point. Quoi? When Australia was announcing their votes, I just thought, I hope to fuck they give us 12 points, because if they don't, I'll be so fucking mad. And they did, so it's cool. All my Aussie cousins, it's cool. We're going to get on just fine. Surely Ireland too. Surely Ireland's are going to give us some points. By the end though, Portugal was first with 382 points, ahead of Bulgaria in second with nearly 100 points fewer, and to be honest, that was it. When you're that far ahead, you've won. I did laugh that Spain received no points though. You have to be a special kind of terrible to get no points at all. But for the first time, the United Kingdom, in the left side of the table, and not like at the bottom, like kind of halfway, like... This is unprecedented.
Yeah, it really is.
And then we had the public vote, which again was like last year, announced in a prompt manner. And as expected, Portugal won with 758 points, a new record for the song contest. Sadly, we didn't manage to stay on the left side of the table, but we managed to top the right side. To be honest, is probably our best finish for many years. So I'll take it. But even more sad was Spain received 5 points. 5 points though, out of a possible of 504, is quite hilarious. So yeah, Salvador Sobral won, and as is tradition, he sung the winning song again. But he brought on his sister on stage, who sung with him. She was the one who wrote the song. It was a really lovely moment. And And I have to say, his closing speech was really indicative of the times that we're living at the moment in terms of music and other art that we consume.
I want to say that we live in a world of disposable music, fast food music without any content, and I think this could be a victory for music with people that make music that actually means something. Music is not fireworks. Music is feeling. So let's try to change this and bring music back, which is really what matters.
Thank you very much for such amazing words.
And what a great message from him, that we shouldn't be championing this mediocrity that we find in modern popular music these days. Others should follow in that mould. Radiohead still haven't made good on their promise to represent the UK yet. Still waiting.
We were trying to persuade the record company to do it. To promote Kid A, we were like, listen, we're not going to do any TV, but we'll do Eurovision. Oh, this is it. This is the Eurovision one, right?
Yeah. Well, no,
just imagine this with a sort of 4 on the floor.
But you know what? This you could do that. But
so that's my take on Eurovision 2017. If you enjoyed it, pop a like. And if you didn't, because you didn't like the way I spoke about your country's entry, then suck it up. That's all for me. See you next year. Ciao.